What's up, Sports-A-Delic? I am Reem, and of course, Lil Reem is always present. I have a treat. I have a special guest tonight. I have Antonio Jemison. He's the host of Mansplainin, and you must absolutely go subscribe and tune into his channel. You know, we have a resource. It's men, mansplaining to us, where we're getting it twisted, where we're getting it wrong. And I have some very pointed questions that I'm going to be asking Mr. Jemison. Come on over here in the studio. Antonio, sir, how are you?
I'm quite well, Reem. How are you?
I don't have any complaints.
Not gonna have. Hey, complaints ain't never changed nothing for me. So,
Right. Life is such as they say. Now, here's the deal. I appreciate you coming on to Sports-A-Delic. I know we talked about it, and we finally been able to find the time to make it happen. So, welcome to Sports-A-Delic.
Thank you for having me.
And I know that where the collegiate level is concerned, we are obviously, I guess, we're the true rival for Alabama in the ACC.
Yeah, the true championship rival.
Yeah, the true championship rival. And one thing that I can honestly say, every game, both sets of fans were like, I don't want to see these dudes. I don't want to see those damn dudes. Damn those dudes.
I also sick and tired of seeing Clemson in a game.
Yes.
Like, man, please, somebody else, please.
Well, I know 2015, I think Dabo learned a lot. He was clearly outcoached in 2015. I've told people this for years. You got to have one timeout left to have a chance at beating Alabama. You got to keep that one. That's where Dabo made his error, because as that game was winding down, we were driving down the field. But ran out of time and timeouts, and that killed the baby. And the funny thing was, because I never heard Nick Saban say this, he said it would be okay with him if he never see Clemson again. He's like, never, ever, ever, ever. But those were the championship games.
Yeah.
All four of them were, with the exception of one, 2018. I felt like we could win. I would be lying if I said I knew that it was going to be a massacre. Like nobody's seen that one coming. But I think it was poor game planning, because you can't go into a game like, oh, Trevor Lawrence is a freshman, and so he's just going to play like a freshman. You can't do that, especially at the end of the season. Nobody's a freshman at the end of the season.
Exactly. You definitely an upperclassman by November, December, January.
Right. And then Georgia finally.
After 41 glorious years.
Well, it's not a whole hell of a lot I can say, because we were up there in that 34 years, something like that. But it's good for the kids.
Yeah.
It's good for the kids. Now, but where them Redskins, where that Washington football team, where those Commanders are concerned, we're right here, baby. We're right here.
There. We're right there.
Yeah, And I done heard it all already, the Commodores and all the bull. But like I told you, I just command you to shut the hell up. That's what I'm doing.
I know, right?
I have to do this for the viewers. If you want to know what I'm smoking tonight, I'm enjoying a Cane F. That's Cane letter F. And this is by Oliva. Oliva makes awesome. One of my favorites is the Aliva v. Melania. So I just wanted to get that, and I know you don't really get down with the
not in that particular style.
I understand. Yeah. I can understand. Hey,
Yeah.
put smoke in the air, just put it in the air. Okay.
Yeah, just put smoke in the air.
Yes. Now, I want to extend the floor to you to tell the viewers about your channel and how they can get at you and why they should get at you. So do that, please. And
okay. Well, first of all, I am Antonio Jemison, and I go by the name Tony Jim, aka Mr. Why Not, Mr. Why Not, and I host a podcast called Mansplainin. Myself and my co-host Melvin Ducky Boy Stringer. We're actually best friends. We've been boys since kindergarten, best friends since 4th grade. So we feed off of each other, and the thing that we talk about almost everything. We talk about sports, we talk about politics, we talk about the government, we talk about life, we talk about relationships. So we cover a whole myriad of things, and you can find us. We broadcast every Wednesday night on YouTube. At 9 o'clock, I have a new time. Now, so we're at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7/6. So, and you can find us on YouTube at my name, Antonio Jemison, Mansplainin. And Mansplainin, if you notice my name down there, there's no G at the end. It's just Mansplainin. So, So if you get a chance to check us out each and every Wednesday night on YouTube and join in the conversation. I'm pretty sure, hopefully, we'll be talking about something that will keep you that will keep you on the edge of your seat and ready to participate in the conversation.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And I am a subscriber, and I tuned in.
I appreciate you.
And this is similar to the octagon in UFC. When you step into Sports-A-Delic. And so, just tell your co-host if he didn't get the invite, it's because you didn't give it to him.
He'll be all right.
Because I'll take the entire set, and just go. Well, but I want to open the floor with erectile dysfunction.
All right. Okay. All right. So you want my take on it?
Yes, let me have your take on it.
All right. First of all, I will thank my Heavenly Father that is something that I've yet to deal with. But to me, honestly, it's a part of life. I mean, all flowers don't stand strong for the duration of their lives. All flowers don't stand strong in the yard all year long. When the winter comes, when the fall comes, those flowers start to droop. And it's just a part of life. Now, I do understand that there are medical procedures, there are medications, and you guys go to the gas station and get them some rhinos or whatever the case may be. There are many different things that guys have readily available for them to combat erectile dysfunction. However, although I'm not suffering from it, I do feel like it can be a very, very frustrating and embarrassing situation. I think it takes a lot to be able to deal with life and having to go with that especially if you're not married and you're dating. Now, if you're married, hopefully you have a spouse that's understanding and you guys can work around some stuff. But if you're not married and you're trying to date, that's kind of hard.
You saying that's kind of hard? No pun intended.
No pun intended. No pun intended. So that would be a little hard to do because because whether we want to believe it or not, everything is. I mean, even if you don't participate in it, everything is sex now. Everything is sex now. Everything on the radio is sex. Everything on television is sex.
My favorite psychologist was Sigmund Freud. And maybe Sigmund Freud, when it's all said and done, he was correct. Everything boils down to sexuality. So here we are.
I'll buy that for $10. Not even $1. I'll buy that for $10.
Well, this is my take on erectile dysfunction. I think that just like with single parenting, there's all types of resources for a woman if she's a single parent, and skimpy for a man who's a single parent. So when it comes to menopause, there's all of this information, there's all of this stuff, and erectile dysfunction is put out there to men, not, in my opinion, in a way that would help them gravitate and understand that just like with us, when you reach a certain age, your sperm count, your testosterone levels drop, they change, and there's things that you need to do. You need to go to your doctor, when you're around 40, and say, hey, let's check these things out. Let's see if some early depletions are starting to happen, and exercise and diet, those are the most natural footing ways to stay on top of that. And certainly, I think anytime if you're behind closed doors and there's nudity, if anything goes wrong, it would be, embarrassing. And it really shouldn't be. Certainly if you're, like you said, with the right person and all of those kinds of things, but the unnatural approach to these things, like the side effects, it's like, well, sure, your flower may bloom, but the side effects is uncontrollable bowel movements and you might get blind in one eye.
I know. The symptoms or the side effects are much worse than what you're even dealing with. I mean, I don't know. It's a touchy subject for men because men tie so much into their sexual ability into their manhood. So when a guy loses the ability to have an erection and thereby lose the ability to have sexual intercourse, that's probably the largest shot that he could take at his manhood throughout his life. That's probably the biggest shot he could ever take in life. But again, like I say, there are several other paths that you can take, like I said, medical, whatever case may be. I've heard hypnosis works. I don't even know if I believe in hypnosis. I've never been hypnotized, never seen anybody hypnotized before, but I've heard hypnosis works. However, but we all know that the older you get, your diet has to change. All the fast food, and I can't play like I don't eat fast food anymore. I do. I eat fast food a lot, but the food that you put in your body, the exercise that you're giving your body, the sleep that you have to give your body. A lot of us, we run ragged to the end, and we don't put the right nourishment back in our bodies to make sure that it runs properly. So it's quite easy to see how a lot of guys who might be genetically dispositioned to have that happen to them could have it happen early because they're not taking care of themselves from the beginning.
Well, I know a lot of women always ask me, oh my God, you have beautiful skin. What are you doing to your skin? And I say,
Agua.
You know, I mean, the body is what, 85% water.
Exactly.
So that's a telltale sign that, hey, give me plenty of that. You know, it's very good for cleansing. It's the best laxative in the world. Like if you really want to stay regular, up your water intake. You know, our large and small intestines like to stay squishy, you know, and that water helps, you know, things kind of squish along, so to speak. You know, so you know,
another thing about men, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, is about not just taking medication and whatever have you, but going to see your doctor on a regular. I mean, as men.
Let me ask you this, and excuse me for interrupting, because some of this is, in my opinion, is cultural. Because Caucasian men, I'm just telling you, the vast amount that I've ever talked to, and I've also talked to Asian men, you know, I've talked to Jewish, I've talked to, at age 50, I've talked to people from all walks of life. But I noticed particularly African American men don't believe in therapy and going to the doctor. Why is that? Would you please mansplain this, please?
I think one of the main reasons that guys don't like to go to the doctor is because they're afraid of the bad news that they could get. Some of the ailments that a lot of Black men had to deal with because of their diet, because of the stress that they were living up under, and maybe the elements that they were living in gave them, you know, put them in a less healthy disposition. So when you go to the doctor, more times than not, there's something gonna be wrong, and a lot of guys have this idea that if I don't check it, if I don't look at it, nobody says anything about it, then it'll get better. I'll grow a new one, whatever it is. If it's your broken leg, I'll grow a new one, whatever the case may be. A lot of guys just are afraid. A lot of guys are just afraid of the diagnosis, because women, I think it comes easier for women because as soon as you hit puberty, you get I mean, yeah, we all have pediatricians that we go to or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times once young ladies reach that puberty stage and they have to start going to see an OBGYN, and they get used to going to the doctor all the time for the checkups that they have to have. And just normally when a boy goes to the doctor, it's because something is hurt. You know?
I know, but what I'm saying is, Antonio, it's white men, they'll tell you in a minute, yeah, you know, I got into counseling, you know, I'm trying to save my marriage, or, you know, I have anxiety. I just knew something, you know, was wrong. And I found myself, you know, self-medicating, and I just don't want to destroy my life. Whereas culturally with Black men, I don't even talk to nobody. I'm good, you know. But and I know they do it other ways. You know, you got the barber shop, and I get that. But mental health is the number one health care problem right now in the United States. And that alone lets you know that there's talking, and then there's that professional intervention counseling, right? But culturally, it's like, oh no, I don't need to talk to you. It's looked at as a weakness by our African American men.
It truly is, because I mean, it's true that adage that, you know, boys don't cry and this, that, and other, but in the Black community, and for the young Black male, it's like that is like mantra. It's like a true mantra for them, where you don't go out and seek help from somebody else. You need to take care of everything you need to take care of within yourself. If there's something wrong, you need to take it. Look to fix it yourself. A lot of Black guys don't trust. A lot of Black guys don't trust non-Black guys. You know, a lot, and Yeah, they don't. A lot of guys don't trust non-black guys, and they don't trust doctors per se, because a lot of guys feel like doctors ain't never got nothing good to tell you. They always going to give you some bad news. I don't want that bad news, so I'll just avoid the doctor. But as far as the mental of needing to talk to someone, needing counsel, that's just the way we're. That's just the way we're. I don't say bred. That's just the way that we are taught coming up. A man don't go and telling other people his problems. Man takes all of his problems, he packs them inside. That's showing emotion. That's weak. Sitting on the couch telling them all about your troubles. That's weak. And for whatever reason, younger black men have a real issue with masculinity being displayed. And how can I say? It's like the only way that I can show you that I'm a man, I have to do something that's deemed dangerous, something violent, something scary, something that people just normally don't do, and they look at that as manhood. And that type of mentality prohibits them from reaching out to somebody else who could possibly help them. What can that man tell me? He's not from where I'm from. That man from some suburb somewhere, driving a BMW and Mercedes. He don't know nothing about my life. What can he tell me about my life? And that's the way a lot of black guys feel.
Well, there's a misconception about what therapy and counseling is for.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're from versus where the doctor is from is mutually exclusive. Now, it certainly helps if you have a relationship. Some men will open up and talk easier to a woman or vice versa. But I do think it starts in childhood. You can watch this play out in a grocery store. If a two-year-old little girl falls down, everybody in the store stops. Oh, baby, get up. Is she hurt? Is she all right? Is she okay? And she gets picked up, she gets squeezed, and that security, is restored.
Mm-hmm.
2-year-old little baby boy falls. You're not hurt. You better not cry. Get up.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody stops moving about their way.
Right.
And so as early as 2 years old, those emotions start to be suppressed.
Right.
And most black men are more comfortable expressing anger, sports,
mm-hmm.
or, they can easily ask for sex, but when it comes to, well, why do you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, what you mean feel that?
Because we're not taught to feel. We're not taught to feel. We're just taught to do. And another thing outside of that that I thought about as well, because I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, a pretty rough part of Birmingham, Pratt City, Ensley area, and that's a pretty rough side of town. A lot of people.
Is that equivalent to the Bronx?
Pratt City, maybe more equivalent to Southside Chicago. Maybe more equivalent to South, because Birmingham stays on first 48 every week. Birmingham's on first 48. But the thing is, what I was going to say is, growing up in those good communities, those low income communities where poverty is all over the place, people didn't have insurance, and kids get hurt. I can't take him to the doctor. We got to fix him up at the house. And I know a lot of kids that would get hurt, but they didn't go to the doctor. Mom, dad, granddad, somebody like that would fix them up at home. So they never got into the routine of going to the doctor when something was wrong. So when I get older, well, this is what my grandma and them did. This is my mama showed me how to do this. You don't need to go to no doctor. But I need to go to a doctor. I've never been to the doctor. So that's another avenue. That's another avenue that's cut off from them because a lot of them didn't have the insurance to cover doctor visits. That's
Well,
another.
certainly being a counselor is something that I absolutely, totally believe in. Everything starts, in the childhood and everything. And like my mother, like clockwork, every 6 months, we're going to the dentist. And like you may see someone and they may seem to have, oral issues. And he's like, damn, what, even celebrities, even celebrities. It's not necessarily a money or insurance thing. This was never really taught at childhood that this was part of routine maintenance.
That's true.
To take care of these things. And that's why, you see it. Because again, we only know what we know, starting with what our parents are giving us. And then if parents are lack for whatever reason, then you don't get it. You may become fortunate to get out of your environment and see things a different way and start to, because the one thing that I did learn at Clemson University, I did learn how to, as an athlete, take care of my body. And I also was learning that if I don't take care of this, we all know if we cut off the head, the body will die. So taking care of my mental health was the beginning stages of being able to take care of my physical being, and I'm not sitting here saying that I have, the body of life. I mean, I might have the body, but maybe not the body of life.
Definitely. Yeah. What you said.
Yeah. And so, but I do, try to eat right. And when I say eat right, I eat predominantly according to my blood type and my body type. And like I go all the way deep, into it because, and you've heard of mesomorph, ectomorph, body type, endomorphs. And so that's a real thing. It's how your body, based on how much muscle mass you may have, that's how your body processes and digests. A lot of people will go and say, oh, I do blood work every year. Well, blood work is like toxicology. It's like a drug test. If they ain't looking for that,
Right.
then they're not looking at those particular markers, whereas I do a food test, food allergy exam. I do an environment, because there's things in the environment that causes you problems. Most people just say, oh, it's pollen, but there are some other things in the environment. Like I have to be really conscientious about incense and perfumes because it's, set me off. And I also, all of my water solubles, all of my B12, those things are done intravenous, for 100% absorption. It's called nutrient therapy. But I also go to an alternative medicine doctor. And what I would like to see, the biggest shift that I would want to see, because what we're really talking about is tonight, where we talk about erectile dysfunction, we're talking about talking, opening up, communicating. We're talking about, hey, go to the doctor, deal with it. But these are all the factors, I think, that are affecting the Black man and the Black woman having healthy relationships when it comes to, intimacy and marriage. I really do. Because if your mindset isn't in line with, okay, this is healthy, this is unhealthy. And if you have a healthy mindset dating an unhealthy, well, what is that really going to look like when it's all said and done? And when it comes to talking, and I ask people, I say, what is the most important part about communication? And they tell me all of this, and I say, well, all of that is wrong. The most important part of communicating is listening.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's listening and paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And when people constantly interrupt, they are not listening.
Right.
And the skill hadn't been developed. It's a life skill that has to be developed. And they cut you off, interrupt, because otherwise they're not even going to remember what the hell you said.
Right.
And they're like, well, I got to say it because, if I don't, I'll forget. Well, I got to say it. Well, you're not listening.
Right.
And
that was the people who are talking to or listening to respond and not listening to comprehend. They just want to respond as quick as they can, but you're not listening to what I'm saying at all. You just listen to respond.
Yeah. Now I know you and we had talked before, and I might be wrong, and so if I'm wrong, just go ahead and correct me in front of the world. I can handle it because I'm different than most women, because, and you've done this to me a few times when we're on the phone. You'll be talking and you'll say hello, and I say I'm listening to you, because I think in general, men aren't used to women not chopping them off while they're talking.
Yeah.
And
so if you're
like,
not chopping me off, then obviously either you're not on the phone or you're not listening to me.
Right. And so that's where I had to kind of train you to understand, no, I'm listening, but you're talking. So I'm supposed to be listening. That's my role while you're talking. So but you shared with me that one of your frustrations is these signals that women send. Like they come across like they're interested. They're coming across, they're giving you all of this. And then right when you strike, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so my question is, what happens when repeatedly, excessively, constantly, men are dealing with women that are not listening and sending, for the lack of a better word, bogus signals? What happens? Do you become frustrated to the point where you're like, whatever, and I don't nobody good?
Right. I mean, it's a give up point. It's a well damn. Like, well, what am I doing this for? Why am I even trying? You get to that point now. Me personally, I'm a reader of signals. Some guys see signals from across the room, a signal that clearly says, do not come over here. But guess what? He's coming over there. So now, me, I read that from across the room, and I know you don't want me to come over there. But he read it from across the room, and that's a challenge. So let me go over here and make sure I can change her mind. Some women fall for that. But there are a lot of guys who say women play games. Women say men are dogs, and men say women play games. Whatever the case may be, but you do hear that a lot because a lot of times we do get mixed signals, and there are females that's out there that just want the attention. They don't want the man. I don't want you. I just want the attention. Just to make sure that I still got it. Make sure I still look as good as I think I look. So your approval of me has given me what I need. That's all I need. I don't need any action from you. I just needed your look to solidify what I already thought of myself. Well, and guys have to face that.
Well, yeah, I can't. The one thing that I always try to do is back up. I don't try to speak from a man's point of view. I mean, I'm a woman, and so I cannot. I'm the type of woman, if I give you my number and I call you and I invite you out, I'm not doing anything else because I don't know. I was kind of brought up, you present that interest, and from that point the man leads. Because see, I'm not going to lead a man. I don't want to, and I'm not going to. And so my position is, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I did this, I did that, and I did that. Because I'm the woman that if I'm out and I'm enjoying your conversation, I'm the woman who's going to be like, yes, bring me another drink, and I'm going to ask you, what are you drinking? Because I enjoy really good conversation. Buying a man a drink, it has gotten me into trouble. And I had to recognize that it's like a dry, since you brought up all the stuff about flowers, it's like a plant, that hadn't had water in 3 or 4 days, and you pour the water and it just sucks it up right away. And so I started to understand he's not used to just someone just listening, like straight up listening. And then they started getting it all out. Then I buy them a drink. And then it's like, so what's up? Like, when can I see you again? And I'm like, because again, I didn't give you my number. There's some other factors, in there, because the frustration on the female side is, damn, I can't even be nice. I can't just, have a nice.
Well, I think a lot of guys will look at that action the same way that they would see it if they did it. If I'm buying a female a drink, it's because I'm trying to holler at her. I ain't just buying a female a drink just to be nice. If I buy a drink, I'm trying to holler at her. I'm trying to get her time, and if I can, I'm trying to go home with her. So when a female comes up and offers to buy a man a drink, that might be what she trying to take me home. What's up? What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So although your intentions were strictly on a friendly basis, just to break ice and be cool and let's communicate and get to know you. To guys, that's a guy move to pick up chicks. I buy drinks to pick up chicks. So she bought me a drink. She tried to pick me up. So that could be a reason why it turns out for the word, because they see that action as the same way when they're doing it to another female.
I guess I just get, and maybe this is really where men and women think totally different. I've not ever dated anyone that wasn't a friend. And if I say to a guy, hey, I just want to be friends, just platonic friends. And in that moment, they're like, okay, cool. But then they may see me out somewhere again and they pushing up, they're pressing up. And I'm like, look,
you never know. Okay, just because she said no this time, don't mean she gonna say no every time.
Well, I'm only speaking from my experience because I'm unusually very direct, and that's what be tripping me out. Because I said, well, maybe you don't know what platonic means, so I'm gonna say it differently this time. I'm not interested. I'm not attracted to you in the way that you are attracted to me, but I am open to friendship. Because you can't date and be with everyone that you meet anyway. That's where I'm at. I'm not physically attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Like when we first met, you bought me a drink and we talked for an hour. Okay, I'm glad that you're explaining this to me, but I'm just letting you know that's just who I am. Right, that's who I am. I was enjoying the conversation. Waitress came over, I bought you a drink. But I also told you, I didn't want anything other than platonic. Platonic means no intimacy, no sex.
I can say this. I have met females before in my life that initially wanted to be platonic friends. We screwed eventually. Eventually, at some point in time, we end up screwing. So, does that happen every time? No. Does it happen a lot of the time? I wouldn't say a lot of the time, but it has happened. So I know if it's happened for me, I know it's happened for a lot of other guys where I'm not interested. And then a month later, y'all fogging up the windows in the car, because he done grew on you. And now he's impressed you, and now you're starting to like him, and he's won you over because that's what he was trying to do. She don't like me right now, but it's my time. That's what he's trying to do.
I call those the diehards, but again, and I tell them that. I say, look, I understand that you've dealt with women that no was no up until it was yes. I understand that. I get that. But I know myself very well. And if it's no today, it's going to be no tomorrow, and it's going to be no next year.
But guess what? Females
no, but the biggest mistake that men make, in my opinion, is you better go with what that woman in your face at that moment is telling you. Yeah. You can't bring those experiences that you have had with other women and lay them at my feet.
True, but he will bring that hope.
Well, again,
he will bring that hope.
Again, I understand all of that. It's no different than if you're in the bedroom. Everybody likes something different. And if you spend more time bringing what everybody else liked, every other woman, and you spend no time trying to understand and get to know her body and what she likes, then it's not going to ultimately work out. And I just think that's the mistake. Well, but my father told it to me this way. He said, we just go with what we know. We just go with what we know. And I understand, and with all of that, but the biggest turn off for me, don't try to present to me that something is wrong with me because I don't like what this woman that you used to deal with likes. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not presenting to you, well, this guy did this or that or that or this, but I'm not a fool because I have friend girls and I'm out in the scene sometime and I'm listening to these women. And even as a woman, I'm sitting there saying, I don't know what truck this chick fell off of, but, I just think that accept the communication. Mm-hmm. Accept the communication. What keeps you from sexual assault, rape, and anything crazy, whatever that woman wants to do with you, you're going to know. So you really don't have to press as hard as you think that you do. Your job as a man is to think, feel, and believe that I won her over. I charmed her. I'm Big Daddy. She couldn't resist. Our job is to let you think that. We've already decided in the first minute. Mm-hmm. Anything after that, you either talking yourself right on out of it or walking yourself right into it. We know that.
True, but he doesn't know that, so he's gonna keep trying until he knows.
That's why they should take the information. Take the information, because sometimes you are talking to a woman that's not damaged. Mm-hmm. Damaged women, emotionally damaged. They got trust issues. Some may have physically been abused, neglected in relationships. Mm-hmm. Well, they're giving you all of that broken stuff. That's why the messages are mixed. That's why it's no, 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 and then it suddenly is yes because she's broken. But if you're dealing with a woman and she's not bringing you baggage, she's not broken, she's communicating to you, and you're responding to that communication. That's why you're gravitating, because like this really feels like norm, like the norm that I want. Then you have to embrace and accept that and go with that, because sometimes you may be attracted, like, because I have men that tell me there's just no way in the hell I can just be your friend, and I look at him as being so immature at that point. That's me personally, because I mean everybody, and the hardest thing for, I think, a man to understand is, and women too, someone can find you attractive. You can be attractive, but that doesn't mean that they want to be with you. That's why women, particularly women, get all up in arms and they become so outraged because I'm fine as hell. I'm the catch me out. You telling me, you find me attractive, but you don't want to be with me. Well, a lot of times, sometimes it can be that mouth. Sometimes it can be that attitude. Sometimes it's none of that. Because I'm not prissy. If you want prissy, you don't want me. But if you want, curvy athletic build, then you're going to find me more attractive and more desirable if that's your type. Mm-hmm. That's not to say you don't find other women attractive, but your type, like what really excites you, is this type. Mm-hmm. But it's like on both sides, people just throw all of that shit out the window. You gonna be my type. I'm gonna make you be. And so I just want you to speak to that, if you
because I don't think they're thinking in the long run sense when they think like that. They're thinking in the immediate sense. Okay. Yeah, you're not my type, but I'll do you until I find my type. Yeah, you're not exactly what I want, but I can deal with you until what I want comes along.
Right.
So I mean,
but nobody wants to be nobody wants to be the filler kit.
No, nobody wants to be, but nobody goes into it thinking that they're going to be that. A lot of times that's just what you discover after a duration of time of being with somebody. A lot of times it's not just playing out in your face like that. Sometimes it takes weeks or months to discover, okay, this was a bad move for me. Well, some people have facades, and some people are very good about keeping them up for a long time.
R. Kelly, no pun intended. But anyway, there's two crocs of trash that we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. Number one, the biggest crock of trash that's out there is women are more emotional than men. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. How do you not believe that?
Don't be trying to get jazzy, because I can't.
How do you not believe that?
Would you mansplain, please?
Everything, almost every move a woman makes is based off of how it's going to make her feel. Not every woman. I think a good majority of women do things based on how they make them feel. Men make moves based on things that they think make sense. I think because of that, a lot of the choices that women make are feel good choices. I'm choosing things that make me feel. I don't care if it makes sense. It ain't gotta make sense. It makes me feel good, and that's probably one of the things that do I want to say hurt women the most? That's probably the biggest self setup that built-in self setup that women have. And what I mean by that is like you set yourself up to get hurt. It's like women can see a guy and know he is not worth anything, but she's attracted to him and something about him she likes. So she'll go into it feeling that, you know what? I feel like I can change him. I feel like I can get him to do something different. And I talked about this the other day. I think women, it's like the difference in women and boys growing up. When a boy's little, the parents are telling him, go outside, go play with your friends, go outside, get out of the house and go do something. Girls are taught to stay in the house, how to make house, play house, and dress up and this, that, and the other. So girls start from a young age planning their life as a wife. They start as kids planning their life as a wife. Boys don't think about being a husband until he's an older guy that's in love with some girl and that he's about to propose to. But I think girls prepare for life and marriage from a young age with the dolls and the doll houses. And when things don't turn out the way that she thinks they should turn out in a relationship, the reason I think she is so angry is because you have destroyed that dream that she has had in her head this whole time, and now you've taken that completely off the racks, and she can't handle it. It makes her emotional. You're killing her feels for what she wants in her life. I just think that men are more logical as to things that make sense, and women are just more emotional towards things that make them feel good. I don't know if I explained what the difference is, but what I'm saying is I think that's the situation. Women are more emotional and men are more logical. Doesn't mean that there are no logical women out there. Doesn't mean that there's no emotional men out there. But for the most part, I think it's that for that emotional for women, for logical men.
Okay. You finished?
I'm finished. Now, why do you think men are just as emotional as women?
Well, we talked about it earlier. I think that people confuse suppressed emotions that are not displayed, as no emotion. Women display their emotions more so than men, which gives the appearance that, oh, well, they're more emotional. This plays out, like I said, with the little girl and the little boy in the grocery store. That little boy, as early as age 2, has to start suppressing a natural emotion that a 2-year-old, when they fall, the wobbly little world scares them. And no, they're not hurt, but the wobbly little world, when they fall, scares them. And they can't just talk and say, I'm good, my wobbly little world. They cry. That's their best way of communicating until they learn to talk. Mm-hmm. This also plays out in the judicial system. Women get more time for murder in terms of sentencing. Their sentencings are greater for murder than men, because
I've never heard that. I've never heard that. But go ahead.
I did interrupt.
I'm sorry.
Do your own homework and your own research, okay? Reason being is because it's premeditated, it's planned, it's thought about. Men kill off rage and emotion. I'm mad, I kicked his ass. I'm mad, I shot him. The woman is like, I know how I'm going to take care of this. That's why you seen the woman in Cobb County. She took She changed the whole entire antifreeze industry. Now antifreeze, they have to put a taste in there so time you taste it, okay, something is wrong here. Because typically it's very sweet. You put it in Gatorade, drink it all day long, and then you just die. You know what? I'm just gonna throw this antifreeze in here. And I'm gonna give him his favorite pudding. I'm gonna give him his favorite meal. I'm just gonna douse it up, until he dies. Men, he cheated on me, so he's gonna go to this slow winding, planned out death. Whereas the man, the anger is coming out, he may choke her, snap her neck, he may shoot her or just beat her completely till she's brain dead or something like that. Because men, like you said, you all are not allowed to show, emotion. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're watching The Color Purple, that you want him boo-hooing on your shoulder, but men in general are not allowed to display certain emotion. So they suppress it, but anything in us, it's going to come out. And so I just think because your emotions are suppressed, whereas women display, well, they're more emotional. And then it plays out in cut buddies. And I know that you haven't been with any men.
No.
Right. You haven't been with any men, so you wouldn't know. But just like I haven't been with any women, so I can't speak from the stories that you tell me. Mm-hmm. But the word out there on the street is the woman always catches the feelings. I told her straight up what it was, and all of that. Right. But the woman is also saying, yeah, you did. But you also did this and that, which kind of led me to believe that you had kind of turned the page a little bit. And what ends up happening, because most women will tell you that have engaged in the cut buddy type thing, the men be catching emotions too. And this is how it's displayed. See, the woman is going to just display it. She's just going to put it out there. The guy is going to give you, oh, well, yeah, I seen you the other night at the spot. I ain't say nothing to you because, look like you was with somebody, and I ain't want to disturb, anything, whatever. So I just didn't, Or they may text you while you're there, seemingly with someone else. And they don't know it's your brother, but they just see, she with another dude, seeing a text. Oh, I see somebody's occupied tonight, all of this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Displaying. Now he's with his homeboys. Now what he's saying to his homeboys is, ain't that who you hit? Yeah, I knocked that off. Yeah. But over here on the side, it's like, all of that kind of stuff that goes on. But now you wouldn't know that because, again, you're the dude, and it may not be how you engage, but I'm just saying that it's happening at a rampant rate on both sides of the street. But again, display is the only thing that people go by.
I think you said something that I think a lot of women make the hugest mistake. Assuming that a guy feels a certain way when he's never said that he feels a certain way. Like you were saying, they were hooking up and they be hooking up. He's like, well, I know you remember you did this and then you did that. So you must, but no, it ain't no, I must feel that way. I did this or I did that because that's what I wanted to do. Not because I was doing that to say I want this, or to say I feel that way. I did that because I just wanted to do that. But a lot of females will say, well, you did that, and that meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to me when you did it. So because you did it, you must feel something. And the guy's like, no, it's just something I did. So that happens a lot, where females take an action as a verbal statement. That ain't what I said, but that's what you did. And that's all I did.
Well, I'm going to push back on that and say this. That means that from childhood, that old additive of actions speak louder than words isn't
Not
true.
always. Not always. Actions sometimes are just actions.
Again, actions really don't speak louder than words. Here's what I'm saying in a nutshell. I'm talking about maturity. See, when you're mature, you understand that action. And understanding that action prevents you from doing it. Whereas men and women want to live in that safe place of, well, I didn't say that. I never said that. That's the safe place where you can always fall back and say, well, I never said that. But all of those other actions, because then we have to throw out the nonverbal is no longer communication either. Like you said earlier, I can see across the room, she don't want me to come over there. This guy says, oh, please come, right? Because that nonverbal is a communication. If it wasn't, most people, and they'd be like, okay, peace. Oh, hey, because nonverbal is communication. And I just think that sometimes the people are operating at different levels of relationship maturity. What I mean by that is you can be cut buddies. This is true. And when your actions, you can't go and you can't, for my birthday, give me a watch. You could, but if you're just cutting, you should be saying, I ain't gonna do no jewelry. I'm not gonna do that. Like I've even told women that have found themselves in this, well, damn. I mean, what you said that you cook breakfast for them and you sent them with a sack of lunch. That's no longer just cutting. You have, and this is what I just try to tell people at a counseling level. If it's a cut, it's a cut. But when you clear your schedule to spend their birthday with them, when you clear your schedule to go over to their house for a cookout, when you clear your schedule, to support her with whatever she may be doing, then the question becomes, well, if you were, quote unquote, in a relationship, what actions would you be showing that's any different than the ones you're showing now? Well, I didn't say it. And I'm saying I just call bullshit on that, because you can't be massaging people, fixing them lunch and fixing them breakfast and buying them nice gifts and spending time with them on their birthday and meeting their family and all of this stuff. And then be like, I didn't say that we were anything.
Now, the meeting of the family, I would definitely draw a line there. The other stuff, I have done all of that other stuff for women that I wasn't with, women that I wasn't trying to be with, but it was a friendly gesture. Now,
what's the difference?
nonverbal communication is saying something, but it might not be saying what you think it's saying. It is communicating, but it might not be saying exactly what you're reading.
But that's what
Because he
Is it
thought
at
you
the safe
deserved it.
place?
Huh?
But that's the safe place.
I don't know if I don't know if I would just say it's a safe place, because I believe
That's the parachute.
It's a truth space. If that's not how you feel, but you don't mind showing love, you don't mind showing love to somebody, because if you got friends and you buy gifts for your friends, you know, you one of those people that are a giver. You're a giver. You give to people. You do. If that's just your nature, and then you got a cut that you cutting with, that nature is going to show out for them, because now they're a friend of yours. But that doesn't mean that you want her to be exclusively yours or you be hers exclusively. But she will more times than not read into that, like, he must want us to be together.
But I'm telling you, it's no different on the other side with men.
I ain't never dated no man, so.
Right. Well, that's what I'm telling you. You know, but you did. Okay. Well, why did you do this, and why did you do that, and why?
Because I saw a need.
I'm a nice person. My point is a simple one. The same trash is going on both sides of the street. And most people are not operating at a mature emotional level when it comes to dating, cutting, or anything else. And what I mean by that is you have to be smart enough, mature enough to understand that I can't show this action, because some actions only lend to one damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some actions only, like, it's not like I gave you a hamburger, you know. I mean, it's not something as simple as, well, you know, I gave you a cigar. It's not as cut and dry as that.
Right.
If the action is I gave you a cigar and you think I'm in love with you, see, now I can say, I can go talk to 100 people and say, I gave them a cigar, you think I'm in love. Probably all 100 gonna be like, okay, yeah, this might be stretching. It's some actions you just need to stay away from.
I mean, but even if I gave you a massage, even if I gave you a full body massage that left you weak in the knees and wet in the middle, I mean, even if I did that, that doesn't. There are some women that will take that, you know, take that as it means something, and it could mean nothing more than my friend wanted to.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Can you? Hello.
No, I can hear you just fine.
Oh.
I can hear you just fine. I said. I explained it. I'm going to explain it this way. Circumstantial evidence. It's these 5 things. These 5 things standing alone will not get you to a conviction. Those 5 things put together will get you to a conviction. I said you can't cut, buy gifts, give massages, fix breakfast, send them on their way with lunch, and
all inclusive.
That's what happens. That's why I said if you cut, you have to just cut. Because when you start adding all of them separate are nothing. I agree with you.
It starts the day that they spend the night. That the first time they spend the night, that's where y'all done fucked up. Oh, excuse me, that's where you done screwed up.
Exactly, because whatever it was is different if you wake up together.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to tell people, I don't care what you say. But you can't say to a man or a woman, we're just cut buddies. And then, but it's a year from now. It's a whole,
But
if I may finish.
Okay.
It's a year from now. And you put all the things that have occurred in that year together, it's no longer just a cut. And nobody really want to cop to that. No, nobody really want to admit that. Don't nobody want to just hold on to that. But that's what it is. But if you cut and there's nothing else until there's a cut, and there's nothing else until there's a cut, on both sides of the fence, there's going to be less drama. Because the only thing you say is, yeah, I cut you here, and then I cut you 3 weeks later. I didn't even talk to you. There was no anything other than I'm coming over tonight, But nobody's doing that, is my point. Nobody's doing that, and typically some men, they hang their hat on, like you said, I ain't gonna spend the night. Because they know the reason why they don't spend the night, some cases, because their wife is at home or their girlfriend is at home, they got to go home. But let's just say it's a single guy, whatever. He knows if I spend the night, if I wake up with her, this is going to be something else.
Mm-hmm. She's thinking differently when she wakes up.
Well, but here's what happens. He's thinking differently too once the breakfast comes. Because he's like there in bed. Here comes the tray, got all his favorites. And he's like, and then it's winter, you didn't leave because it's like, well, it's 18 degrees outside, And then, and while you're eating, she's, massaging your feet. And because we're human beings. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what, this is actually, kind of nice. Mm-hmm. Then the guy's like, I wonder if she like this always. Mm-hmm. I wonder if, is this the consistent her? Because if it is, like, I can get used to this, and here we go. It's supposed to just be a cut.
That's true. But in that same token, you can take somebody that's been a cut for 2 years, 3 years. Y'all just been cutting, and y'all been hanging, and y'all been doing everything. Y'all been doing a lot of other stuff. But in his mind, his voice, he's just saying, we just cut. We just cut. But nothing materializes from that. Nothing materializes from the cut. She was hoping for it, but nothing materializes from the cut. In 2-3 years of cutting and nothing, then he meets the next chick, and 6 months later, he's married. There's no rhyme or reason to it just because they spent a lot of time with it, and because when a guy spends a lot of time, it doesn't necessarily say I love you or I'm in love with you. It just means, you know what, I like you. I like being around you. I like spending time with you. That don't mean I'm in love with you. That don't mean I want to be in love with you. That just means I like being around you. That means you ease my mind. You keep you do the thing. You do some things that keep me at bay, that keep me calm. I like that about you. But you're not necessarily the person that I ultimately want to be with. So we can hang out and do this thing that we're doing right now until the right one comes along. And now she feels like he was wrong for what he did. He should have stayed with me. What was wrong with me? Why did he leave? I mean, we was kicking it for three years, and all of a sudden he got married in 6 months. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You know what I'm saying? And just because he woke up with you that next morning, you fed him breakfast, yeah, he's starting to really like you, but that don't mean he's starting to love you. And I think that's a big
I'm not talking about love and being in love. And then in love, I always ask people, really, what is that?
I really couldn't define that for you.
You're right. But I think I think what I'm saying is, you can't really expect. It's no different than the job that you're on. It's like I've been doing this job. Okay, it's a year later, um, and then okay, I want a raise. I just think it's normal to want more after X amount of time, is put in. I do understand that if conversations aren't had, like for me, I would thrive better in a situation where I'm dealing with someone that's operating at the same emotional mature stage that I am. What I mean by that is at age 50, if I got to have a high school conversation about who and what we are, that becomes something I don't want to be bothered with. Because, in high school, you got to check the box. Will you be mine? Check yes, no, all of this kind of stuff. Because I think when I want to spend time with someone, I call you. When I go out of town, you're with me. When, when these things, when these things happen, it's like, we're grown and we are what we're doing. We are what we're doing at a certain age and stage of maturity. Stage and age and maturity. The reason why when a young guy, comes at me, I just tell him we're in a different stage of life. It's not going to work. And I'm not even going to even begin to go there. What you mean? The fact that you asking that question right there, that's it. That's it right there. I'm 50, and because I look to you like I'm 38 and you're 27, I ain't got nothing to do with that. We're in different stages, of life itself. I have more years behind than I might have in front, and we're in a different stage and kind of leave it alone from that standpoint, and that's all I'm saying, that between the nonverbals and the actions, that causes the discord. I think when men and women, when they're dating, hooking up, cutting, whatever, because, and I'm not saying that women are no better. Everybody creates these little safe places where they can go run, and hide. Um, because I've had a guy say to me before, I want to move forward. And I said, forward with what? And you said, what you mean? I said, okay, move forward. But he says, I want to move forward, but I don't want to move forward if you are going to give me all of that woman stuff. And I said, well, I don't want to move forward. I would only move forward with someone that understands that I'm a woman and the only thing I can give is woman stuff. So, I'm out of here. And then I said, so you want me to give you dude stuff? Because if you want that, I'm definitely out of here. Then it's like, oh, well, no, you're taking that the wrong way. You don't understand. See, this is what I'm talking about. You don't understand what I mean. You don't even understand what you mean. You telling me as a woman, you don't want me to give you woman stuff. And it takes a certain kind of man. As women, you have to know how to check a man. You can't check a man by emasculating him. You can't check a man, by being disrespectful and all those kinds of things. But there are some men that know that they need to be checked And they're going to gravitate to that woman that not just checks them, but know how to check them. You know, it's not a disrespectful checking and emasculating or checking. It's like, I need that type of stability, you know, type thing. And then you got guys that look for women that are damaged, low self-esteem, very docile, and to some degree green. That's their mark. That's their target, you know. And then there are some women that they have the guy's name and number in their phone. If they just want to go out and have this wonderful, expensive evening without having to give anything in return, because she knows that this guy really likes her and he wants to be with her. And so she takes advantage from that standpoint. You know, because like I said, I'm not sitting up here saying that women's poo-poo don't stink either. I'm not saying that. Not at all. Not at all. So that's, you know, my take. And so I think we can agree on some things and disagree, you know, on others.
True.
And I'm grateful that you decided to come on to the scene of Sports-A-Delic. Maybe I would be honored one day to be invited on your show.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm going to always talk, you know, straight up. You know, I'm not, women get mad at me because I don't just agree because we're all women. Like if it's shot out, it's shot out. I can't jump on that, you know, if it's some trash. I don't think that women that are of the mindset, I'm just so beautiful, therefore you should pay for everything. I don't know where the hell they have come from. I don't know who's taught that and instilled that. I don't know if it's media. I don't know if it's music. I don't know where the hell she got it from. It's ridiculous, you know, to me. I don't think men and women are that different. You know, my God, even if you rub a dog, that hand on the dog feels good to the dog. You know, I just think we all like and respond to the same things because at the end of the day, we're human. But I think these little safe places that people create just to have it out, just to be able to pull the parachute, it's, you know, is the problem. You know, I really do.
That could be the problem. And, you know, and also I just believe people should force people to say what they think they hear and not just go with what they think they hear. You know, if you think you hear something, make them say it. Make them say it. If they can't say it, then stop feeling the way that you're feeling.
Again, I hear you. I do understand. I just think that that's a safe place if we've put all of these actions, you know, together. You know, and sadly, a man will give you his body before he buy you a drink. You know, like the value, you know, and now women have gotten to the point where they're putting more value on money than their body. Whereas men has been doing it for years. You know, sure, I'll buy you a drink if you're gonna give me, you know, your body. And then now that women have just said, okay, show me the money, it's like, oh, hell no. And I think men have participated in creating these monsters by how they have been operating.
So
No. We're having an adult conversation. Nothing is a blanket. Yeah. Nothing is a blanket. This is a adult conversation. Nothing is all men or all women.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that.
But I think those guys, yeah, you're right. And those guys have created some problems. Those guys that just, I mean, because some women feel like you should give them money for nothing because some guys give them money just for nothing.
Again, I don't think you need to be bringing your trash over here to somebody else. Go on over there and deal with those people that are giving you money for nothing. I'm giving you money for something. That's just where. And I just think that sometimes, men should pay attention. Like if you are a player, you think that you got game or whatever. The smartest player in the world is the one that says, okay, I got to make some adjustments because she's not going for that. Like, and I do think men know, who's going to go for what.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the whole mystique of it. We know who's going to do what, when, why, and where. And I think that's probably true, even, for women. So
I can agree with that.
That's, my take on it. So I'm gonna let you get back to your phone call or texting or whatever the hell you're doing. Because it is Saturday night. My brother's in town and he wants to go somewhere, so I'm gonna take him.
Oh yeah. Get out and enjoy. Let your brother enjoy the city.
Well, he feels like he's a free man because him and his spouse.
Of course, he ready to go and be rowdy.
Mm-hmm. And he has the ultimate designated driver tonight. So.
Yeah, that part right there.
But again, thank you for joining Sports-A-Delic. And I'll be awaiting my invitation. I think it was good, fruitful information. I think that you clarified some things for some women out there and even some men to just, hey, suck it up, go to the doctor, just take better care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's all part of it. Because I think a healthy you is a better you when it comes to dating anybody.
You're exactly right. So I agree. And I appreciate and I thank you for inviting me on the show. We are going to work on getting you over there onto Mansplaining, see when we can make that happen. Hopefully we can make that happen real soon. And again, for the fellas out there, if that's something, if ED is something that you're dealing with, don't just hide in the closet. There are treatments, there are remedies for it. You might have to try a few different things. No one thing is going to fix everybody, but there are a few different things out there, and you should, don't just shut life off and like everything is over with. Your manhood's in question. Go out there and question. Go out there and ask questions. Seek research. I'm sure you'll find something that's going to help. You will find something that's going to help.
And my message, to the men is, if you need to, be honest with yourself. Sometimes just simply losing weight will remedy, some of those mishaps that you're having. Nobody's 20 anymore.
Right. And you can see your pee-pee when you lose weight too.
Right. And let's not be the person because you think that you still can see it, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking over to still see it. Drop some weight, do some walking, drink more water, and that will help tremendously, I think.
Right.
All right. Hey, you have an awesome weekend. Before we go, can I have your Super Bowl pick?
I like the fact that this is going to be an all SEC quarterback Super Bowl. Okay. So, but in that, I'm going with the sentimental pick, and that being Matthew Stafford. I think it's time. I think Matthew Stafford has done more than paid his dues all the years he's been in Detroit. I think he deserves to win one. So I'm going with the Rams.
I want to see. I got 3 starting Tigers over there with Cincy. I would like to see my Tigers. All 3 of them have a national championship with Clemson. I would like to see them get, a Super Bowl. But having played basketball at every level, I know that defense wins the goddamn championship. I don't see Cincy's offensive line holding up worth a damn. And we know Burrow was the most sacked quarterback this year. Going into the Tennessee game, he had 54. And I think they sacked him 9 times, that line. But I will say this, if they don't get to him, somewhere between Chase, his boy from LSU, and his boy from Clemson, Higgins, 85.
Higgins.
Yeah, if you let them loose, and certainly Alabama know what happened when they let when Higgins get loose. I had to do it.
Yeah, we know what happens when Higgins get loose. Yeah, okay. All right. I'll take that. I'll take it.
Well, I'm just going with what Saban said. They're just letting them run down the field. Well, it looked like they were doing it. I mean, he's 6'4", 225. I mean, just throw it up sometime. Hell.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
But like I said, have a good night and thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.